Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. The time is 7:13 p.m. The Redevelopment Commission is comprised of the entire council, so we'll bring in council members Caleb Johnson and Tom Schmidt. Our advisor from the Lake Central School Board could not be with us this evening. Minutes of the June 14th, 2023 public meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Passes 5-0. Claims, Mr. Troxel, any additional claims?
No additional claims, Mr. President.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second, I think?
Yes.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Any reports from staff?
I do have one report regarding 22 West Joliet, which is right next door here, west side of Town Hall. We are working on the request for proposals. We do have a draft that we'll be sending out to the council members to review, and then we'll move on forward from there.
All right. Looking forward to moving forward with getting that bid out and entertaining, to really start our redevelopment of our downtown. We're this close, so thank you.
So we're taking down one of the houses.
Yeah, the other one will be done. Yeah, the other one will be done this week as well, hopefully.
Any reports from council members? I had a couple of questions. I noticed some activity where Houlihan's used to be. Any information on what's going in there and
Yeah,
when?
the restaurant, there's going to be another restaurant going in there. It's called Twin Peaks, and they have already secured their permits to redo the inside as well as some exterior work. They're putting a patio out on the east side of that building. And so they just got started. I saw they had the construction fence up end of last week, early this week, and so they're moving on it. They do have permits for that as well.
Very good. The former Amarillo Steakhouse has seen its better days. It's quite unsightly. I don't know if you've been by there lately. Do we know of any potential activity or anybody moving in? Are we addressing it from a code enforcement?
We've heard, we have, code enforcement was just out there a couple weeks ago because the weeds were out of control, the sign, there was a hole in the side of the building, so they took care of all of that, but our code enforcement is, visiting that site weekly and notifying the owners that they need to take care of it, so it's, it's unfortunate that nobody's bought that. I think it needs to be demoed, but that's just my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone.
Yeah, it's had flooding in there over the years. It's had several issues. So, but we did have interest last year, somebody going in there, but it just fell apart.
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
I'll ask one last time. Any reports from council members? Okay, moving on. This will be a quicker meeting. No old business, no new business. Any business from the floor regarding redevelopment? Any business from the floor? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
I'd like to call to order the Utility Board meeting for Wednesday, July 12, 2023 at 7:16 p.m. The roll call remains the same as the previous meeting of the Redevelopment Commission. First on the agenda are the minutes of the June 14th, 2023 public meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda, we have claims. Mr. Troxel, are there any additional claims?
No additional claims, Madam President.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda, we have reports. Are there any staff reports regarding the Utility Board?
No reports.
Are there any council member reports regarding the Utility Board?
No.
Moving on, there is no old business. There is new business. Item A, Resolution 2023-7, a resolution to transfer funds within a category of appropriations.
Madam President, yes, thank you. This is from the wastewater operating and maintenance fund here that was requested by the superintendent here to transfer funds from the listed funds in their budget to the other fund that's listed here. A total of $20,000 is what's being transferred.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Next on the agenda, business from the floor regarding the utility board. Is there any business from the floor regarding the utility board? Seeing and hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
Good evening. I'd like to call the town council meeting for Wednesday, July 12th at approximately 7:18 PM, it looks like. The first item on the agenda is the minutes from the June 14th public meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Also, the roll call for the town council meeting is the same as the utility board. So we'll move right into claims. Mr. Troxel, any additional claims?
No additional claims, Mr. President.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. Reports. Next is reports. We'll start from the left. Assistant Fire Chief Dave Meyer.
Good evening. One thing I wanted to talk about is we want to be moving forward with a partnership with a program called
Hey, Dave, can you
Project Fire Buddies.
bring that mic just a little closer? There you go.
Project Fire Buddies. The program started in 2016, and what it does is it brings joy to kids with serious illnesses, terminal illnesses. The program is mainly based in Illinois, but they're starting to move to Indiana. What they do is they do toy drives, the kids with the children. They visit them at the home. If they can't go trick-or-treating, they would bring candy, stuff like that. Just go over there, anything to brighten their day and try to make their day a little bit better. The best part is there's no cost to the town and no cost to the fire department. Everything goes through Project Fire Buddies. There were a sick kid in Schererville, because that's all they deal with is Schererville. They would go through the application, review it to see if it's a proper candidate. If it is, they would pass it along to our charter, and then from then we would take over we would take it over, go visit the kid, let him come to the station if he's capable, kind of like a buddy. Again, there's no clients in Schererville, but that could change at any minute. All off-duty and on-duty personnel are willing to help. On-duty crew, if they're not busy, maybe stop by, check in on the kid, see how he's doing, give him a little fire truck tour. And a lot of big sports organizations and a lot of big-name stars also participated. The White Sox, the Chicago Blackhawks, they're big in the Project Fire Buddies. Jack Black, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they also participated in a lot. The sports events are mainly for the older kids also. The teenagers, they're not big into toys, they like the sports. Currently, there is a chapter in Dyer and a chapter in Cedar Lake. Schererville is hoping to become the third chapter in Indiana. So we just wanted to let you guys know, see if you have any questions, and hope you guys approve of this. I also do have Captain Konasek, who's been spearheading this event, mainly dealing with the Project Fire Buddies, getting everything set up, the chapter and everything. But we wanted to clear it with the town and make sure everybody's on board.
So when we get this approved and people want to make donations, do they make them directly to the Schererville Fire Department?
I'll let Joe handle that because he knows it. I think I know the answer, but I'll let him specifically answer that.
All right.
All funds are handled directly by Project Fire Buddies. We actually touch no money unless we do a specific fundraiser. Ourselves for Project Fire Buddies. So if the fire department or the union did, a boot drive, or we did a pancake breakfast or something like that to raise funds, that would be the only time we would handle the money, and that money would be turned over directly to Project Fire Buddies. That's one of the best parts about the program. We don't have to touch any of the money. All we have to do is service the client, and it just makes it a lot simpler. So.
Thank you very much.
Great program.
Sounds like a great program, and we appreciate you guys getting involved in it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for Deputy Chief Meyer?
Do we need approval for this?
Motion to approve it?
Yes.
Mr. President, motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion with a second. All in favor to approve this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Deputy Meyer, did you have any other comments regarding the fire department? No further reports. Deputy Chief Steve McElmeyer, good evening. Our Park Superintendent, John Novosich.
Mike?
Thank you. I can just share some numbers on our summer registration for our kids' programs. We have 541 kids signed up in our weekly camps, and we have 240 signed up in all the other programs like Kids Can Cook, art classes. So for the summer, we have a total of 781 kids signed up, so that's by far our record for registrations. So busy, and had a great fireworks event, and thank you for your support, as well as the police department, fire department, and public works. It was really a good turnout, and it was a good event.
Figure out a second exit out of Leanna.
Thank you, John. Yeah, we did get a lot of calls on the event, and everything went smooth, and it was a great event for the fireworks. The weather was great, and you guys did a great job. All the departments did. Neil Simstead from Nice Engineering, our town engineer, any? Chad Nondorf from Public Works. Annie Hanson. Town manager Jim Gorman.
No reports.
Okay, thank you. Any council members, any reports?
I do have a question for Mr. Hanson in regard to the Ileana survey results. The survey period extends till August 11th.
Correct.
Have the results changed at all?
No, they're pretty consistent.
What, if you, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but what are the top 5 vote-getters?
Top 5. One was an ice rink. I think that was number 4 or 5.
Band shell.
Band shell was, I believe, number 1. Number 2 was a trail. I think number 3 and 4 were botanical garden and
And a rec center.
a rec center.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Yeah, still in progress, so if you haven't filled it out, please stop in and fill it out.
Any other comments from the council? Any reports? At this time, we'll move to the public comment regarding agenda items. Is there any public comments regarding? No comments regarding agenda items. We'll move right into our business. Our next is old business. Item A is request to access town property to repair a material containment wall behind Smith Concrete. The petitioner is Rich Ruth, Target Rentals, location 1001 US 41. This was deferred from June 14th meeting. Mr. Gorman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, the town council directed admin staff to work with Attorney Austin at the last council meeting to draft a legal agreement for Mr. Ruth to enter onto our property to fix basically a wall. And that instrument was not yet drafted. We do need more information from the petitioner, and we need to work a little bit closer with him because there are some floodplain issues out there and some engineering that he needs to do to get this thing moving forward before an agreement can even be considered. So my recommendation is we defer that and till next meeting, or take it off the agenda, or whatever you guys decide to do until we get more information.
Mr. Chairman? I'd like to make a motion to defer.
Second.
We have a motion or a second. Any other comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I mean, I personally think that just giving this business owner access is not the solution to the problem. We still have an encroachment onto town property from a neighboring business owner, and I think that has to be addressed either with a lease or with removal of the encroachment. And I think that's the bigger issue here, and until that's formalized in some way, whether it's a lease or a removal, I don't know that we should even contemplate this request for access to the town property to repair this wall. So I still am of the opinion this is a bad precedent to set, just leaving it alone or ignoring it. I think that we ought to address it now with either an ultimatum to remove it from the council or enter into a lease, a long-term lease agreement or some sort of lease agreement where the town is being adequately and reasonably compensated for the encroachment and use of the property.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. We have a motion on the floor to defer and a second. Mr. Troxel, you want to call a roll call?
Mr. Johnson?
I guess I'll vote in favor of deferral, that's fine.
Mr. Conley?
Yes, deferral.
Mr. Arvanitis?
Yes.
Mr. Getzloff?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carries 5-0 to defer, and we'll have staff continue to work together with Mr. Austin and the petitioner on this item. Moving right into new business, item A is ordinance 1994, an ordinance replacing the town ordinance number 1926 to replace and reestablish an equitable impact fee for the purpose of planning and financing park and recreation infrastructure needed to serve new development in the town of Schererville, Lake County, Indiana, repealing all ordinance and town code sections or parts thereof in conflict herewith and all matters related hereto. Mr. Gorman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, this is an ordinance reestablishing the park impact fee that is paid to the town when a developer applies for a new house permit. And the committee met 3 times earlier this year as is required in that. And the Arts group out of Maryville prepared that study that is included in your packet tonight. It's also up on the screen. The impact fee is $2,170.33. It is the same as it was 5 years ago. And Mr. Arshami is here tonight from the Arts Group if anybody has any questions regarding that report.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Yes.
Recommendation is to maintain the fee exactly the same as.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that went in front of the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission voted on it, and they had a favorable recommendation for that fee to stay. And then it also went to the Park Board, I believe it was that earlier this week or last week? Last week, and they also have a resolution that they approved that number as well.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I don't have any questions.
Anybody else have any questions for staff or Tagi's here from our Arts Group? Any comments? No.
Can we just reiterate so everybody knows the fee is paid by the builder?
The builder, right, the developer, they, when they apply for a house permit, they pay the fee. Or if a homeowner or potential homeowner is building their own house, then they would pay
They
the
would
fee.
pay it.
Yep.
Mr. President, motion to approve ordinance 1994.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Motion carries
Second.
5-0. Motion on the floor to adopt and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 to adopt. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Austin?
the ordinance is effective immediately. It'll be filed and recorded to finish the statutory process
Thank you, Mr.
It'll be
Austin.
effective 6 months from.
and becomes effective 6 months from this date.
Thank you. Item B, Resolution 2023-6 is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Schererville, Indiana, authorizing execution and delivery of equipment schedule to the Master Equipment Lease-Purchase Agreement with Bank America National Association for the acquisition, financing, and leasing of vehicles and equipment under the terms specified herein, as well as authorizing the execution and delivery of other documents required in connection therewith, and authorizing all other actions required for the transaction contemplated in all matters related thereto. Mr. Troxel, you have a comment on?
Thank you, I can. Yes, council members, back in May, you authorized myself to go out for bids for up to $2.5 million for vehicles and equipment, a list that was put together by staff administration. So that was completed. The successful bidder was Bank of America. They were the same company that won the bid 2 years ago when we went out for vehicles and equipment. So what we're doing here is you're authorizing to move into that agreement with Bank of America for their paperwork to secure the loan. It did lower from $2.5 million down to $2.2 million for these vehicles and equipment. The rate we did receive was 3.78%. We did take a 4-year term on that. So in comparable to other financing that we sought, this was the best rate that was out there comparably.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. Troxel.
Question, Mr. President. Are we anticipating that we're going to need another vehicle purchase before the 4-year term is up?
Most likely, yes.
So we're going to be stacking these leases on top of each other? So we're going to have this lease still going and then be purchasing another set of?
Yeah, I believe another one's going to fall off.
Yeah, with the one we did in 2021 will fall off in 2025. There's a 4-year there. So this one will still be in place, and then whatever the needs are, most likely we'll address it then. Yes.
Yeah, Councilman Johnson, we went through the list and we cut a lot of stuff because it was a very extensive list, and we said, can this wait a couple more years? The answer was, yeah, there's certain equipment that we did not include in this list, moved to that list, so.
2 years, we may be addressing this again. Okay, I appreciate it.
most of the time we do. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been
it's every couple of
other
years.
year. Only because of the way the years of the cars go, I mean, so. With that being said, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2023-6.
That'd be
Approve,
approved.
I'm sorry.
I'll second the approval motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing I would ask is, just to clarify, the resolution is authorizing the execution. Is this authorizing the clerk treasurer? Do we need to specify that, or?
It's clear in the documents, the town council president will execute instruments attested by the clerk treasurer.
I didn't know if we needed to specify who was authorized.
You can if you want it. I construe it for opinion purposes, which I've drafted, as being the officers of the council.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Item C is a resolution 2023-8, is a resolution to transfer funds within the category of appropriations. Mr. Troxel?
Thank you, Councilman President. Yeah, this comes from, it's for a park non-reverting fund. This transfer was requested by the Superintendent of Parks, Mr. Novosich, to transfer funds into the categories that are listed here.
Motion to approve?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item D is consider approval of the Town of Schererville ARPA nonprofit repayment program in the amount of $10,000 for the Schererville Chamber of Commerce for repayment of a loan acquired during the COVID-19 upon receipt of required documents. The ARPA committee gave a favorable recommendation of 6-0 and authorizing the clerk treasurer for review and execute documents. Mr. Gorman?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, back last year, the town allocated $100,000 of our ARPA funding to be made available to nonprofit 501c3s who applied for non-forgivable loans through the Small Business Administration with the federal government during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Schererville Chamber of Commerce applied to the town, and we granted them a limit. We have a limit of $10,000, so they were granted $10,000 to go towards their non-forgivable loan with the SBA. And that monies that they will get will go directly to the SBA, where the money came from for the original loan. And we're working with that firm and the chamber to get all the documentation, and because it's all done electronically, so we're working with them, and Cindy Jansky is here tonight if anybody has any questions. It was for payroll and operations, just to keep things going during the pandemic. And if anybody knows of any other 501c3s that have loans through that organization, the Small Business Administration, please apply for the town, to the town of Schererville. We'd be happy to help if we can, if all the qualifications are met.
Thank you, Mr. Gorman, for the report. Anybody have any questions from Cindy from the chamber while she's here?
No.
Okay.
Mr. President, I just want to make a statement for myself. I'm a member of the chamber, and just for, I guess, clarity and transparency here, I'm a member of the chamber. I was on the board at the time that we took that loan, and I'm going to recuse myself from voting on this issue.
Mr. President, I am currently on the board, so I should not vote either.
Mr. President, I'm not on the board, and move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Roll call.
Roll call, Mr. Troxel.
Mr. Johnson?
I recuse myself, so I don't know if I have to say abstain? Abstain.
Mr. Conley?
Yes.
Mrs. Arvanitis?
I have to abstain as well.
Mr. Getzloff?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Item E is consider variance of use to allow a used car sales business within the US 30 Commercial Corridor Overlay District. Is a Board of Zoning Appeals case 23-6-6. The petitioner is Pro Sport Auto Finance LLC, Mohammed Abu Aid and Ahmad M. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, of course. Location is 7715 West Lincoln Highway, Lot 1, Homes Edition. BZA gave a favorable recommendation with conditions of 4-0. And the recommendations are, number 1, no auto body parts behind the building, a 6-foot privacy fencing and or landscaping buffering at the south side of the property to be reviewed and approved by staff and addressed within 6 months. 3, to provide a defined shared access with the automotive repair business to a rear pole building at this location. And 4, no buy here, sell here options at this location. And 5, subject to this petitioner and location only. Mr. Gorman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, this case came before the BZA. There was a used car dealership there that was approved last year. It's going under a different name. That variance of use was given to that petitioner only. This is a new petitioner under a new name, so they had to go in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals again. The next case, item F, is basically the same thing. They're two different properties, but and with two different addresses, but the same business for both of those. And I believe the petitioner's here tonight if anybody has questions. And it came with a favorable recommendation with those conditions, 4-0.
I guess my only question to the petitioner, you're still confident that you'll meet all those conditions?
Go stand in the mic, answer.
Yes, we'll be meeting all the conditions. The fence recommendation was from the last hearing, and we definitely looking forward to do any fixing for our neighbors. We actually, like, when I went personally behind the building, and there was like natural landscaping in behind the property. I wasn't able to see the fence, but we seen some pictures came from my attorney. We'll definitely like work on it and move forward to do any fixing or landscaping.
Very good.
I have a question. I don't remember last time, and it may be silly to ask. What is no buy here, sell here option? I don't remember that being in.
That's like basically, but like without, basically the dealership is doing the finance to the customer, not like through a bank or a finance company, and we don't do that in there.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, wasn't familiar.
Mr. President?
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. President, I was just curious, I didn't go to the BZA for this hearing, and I apologize, it may have been discussed there. What type of quantity of cars are you planning to have? What's like the average sales price that you're anticipating, those types of things? Can you give us a little description of what your business model is?
Basically, as far as inventory, maybe we'll be stocking between, I would like, say 30 to 50 at the most for vehicles, and for the whole lot. As far as sales, monthly, we will be averaging around, let's say 30 sales. Hopefully, we can do better. And what was the last?
Average value of car or average value of sales, just to, I don't want $200 cars sitting there or whatever that are barely moving.
Definitely, look, average vehicles value will be around, let's say 15 to 20,000, up to 50 sometimes. Will be about, as vehicles, usually our vehicles will be stocking vehicles 2017 up to 2022, 2023. So it's gonna be a nice modern dealership.
And you said you're agreeable to all the conditions?
Yes, I agree to all the conditions.
Any other questions for the petitioner while he's here?
No.
Mr. President, motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item F is, yes,
Inclusive of the conditions.
And the findings of fact
Findings of fact, yes.
from the BZA.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Getzoff, that will be in your motion.
Yes, sir.
And your second, Mr. Conley.
So amended.
And I'll make a motion to approve BZA case 23-6-7, the second case on this exact same variance for the Pro Sport Auto Finance, including the BZA's findings of fact and conditions listed.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second on item F. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0 on that, too. Item G is consider a variance of use to allow a portable 10-foot by 6-foot food trailer to be located on site from May 1st through October 31st, 2023, within the US 41 Commercial Corridor Overlay District. This came from zoning appeals case 23-6-8. The petitioner is Belly Dogs LLC, Jesse Russell and Aaron Irving. Location is US 41, Menard Subdivision, Lot 1. It came with a BZA favorable recommendation of 4-0. Mr. Gorman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, the petitioner came to the town and asked if they could, it's basically a hot dog trailer, sell hot dogs, next to the in the Menards, in front of the Menards building, right at the exit, on the south side of the exit. And that is not an allowed use per our ordinance. So we suggested that they went in front of the BZA. They did. They got a favorable recommendation from the BZA. And they also have a contract with Menards that we checked out. And it's good for, I can't remember the dates. Till October 30, oh, it's right on here. From May 1st to October 31st. And I believe Mr. Russell is here tonight if anybody has any questions.
And Jim, the contract with Menards was seen?
Yeah, we did see.
Our staff reviewed it?
Yeah, they provided it. It was part of the BZA case.
Hi, Mr. Russell.
Just saying that Menards allowed them to be there.
And is there a set time that you'll be selling hot dogs from
The contract states that we're only allowed to operate during Menards' their operating hours.
business hours?
Yeah, but we're not going to be there before 8 a.m. and then after 5 p.m.
That'll be on the weekends too?
We're kind of spreading our time between Cleveland Cliffs. We just got a contract to go inside of the mill there. So we're trying to spread our time between the two right now because we only have one. So, possibly weekends, but we could be up there in the weekend as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wasn't clear, where's the south exit or south side exit?
There's, at the Menards, there's an indoor, and then there's an outdoor. He's just to the south side of the outdoor. Like you go in on the south side, and you go
Exit to
out
the
on the north
building,
side.
not exit to the parking lot.
Exactly.
I get it, okay.
Yep.
So, and is that gonna cause any sort of traffic flow problems? you
No,
think?
it's in a cubby. There's pillars, and he's basically back in a cubby. So you come out the exit door, you make a right, and then you go in that space where the cubby is.
So he'll be flush with those pillars, like,
Yeah, he's actually going to be behind the pillars.
okay.
Yeah. It's a good spot.
And do you anticipate walk-up traffic as opposed to drive-up traffic?
No drive-up traffic, only walk-up.
Walk out.
Yeah, walk
Out.
out. Walk up and out.
Is this something that we've ever done before, like a long-term food truck allowance, like just to leave them there for 6 months?
No, we have not. I know the guy that's in Home Depot. He's in the building, so that was a separate thing. This guy's outside the building. You can't run a business unless you're in a building. So that's why you went for the variance.
That's, I guess, my concern is what kind of things do we need to be concerned about? Health, fire? Like, are we going to be inspecting this trailer? He's going to be transporting it back and forth to Cleveland Cliffs, so it's not going to be there all the time. It's going to be in and out of there every time he wants to set up. What kind of safety are we going to have for pedestrians? He's going to be setting up in the middle of the day when the business is open?
That'll be up to Menards. It's private property. We have no say in that.
Well, we're allowing it, so I feel like we should have some say in it.
But it's private property.
Just to touch base on the health side of everything, we're permitted through Lake County, through their health department with all of our permits for operating, as well as like ServSafe certifications. And we have permits in other cities as well. Wherever we operate, we have to have a permit.
Does our fire department inspect?
I think possibly for the towns to do something like that, you'd have to set up maybe a health department for the town or something, and then possibly do that, have that process built into the fire department as well.
I meant more for fire safety. Like, I know my business gets inspected by the fire department, making sure that we have a fire extinguisher, make sure we have emergency
absolutely.
lighting, that stuff. That's a building, but I assume that you're going to have something heating these hot dogs.
Absolutely. It's a steam table, no open flame, so all the flames are contained. We have a fire extinguisher, 4-compartment sink, hand washing sink.
I think Deputy Chief Meyer was shaking his head. Yes, there would be.
We will inspect it, make sure that it meets all fire code violations, just like we do with the festival and fireworks. We inspect all the food trailers to make sure everything's in compliance. That's something we will check.
Yeah, because it's a business. He's getting a business license. But as far as traffic goes,
The
no.
health department also does come out, and they have a list, a checklist that he has to follow before they give him the license and that, so.
And we saw that documentation too from the county that he has. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is only for this year. If he wants to do it next year, he's coming back.
And I think you're halfway through your term already, almost.
Yeah, exactly, yep.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve based on the favorable recommendation from the BZA.
I'll second as long as it includes the findings of fact of the BZA.
As long as it includes yes, including the findings of fact from the BZA. Sorry, thank you.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second to approve with the findings of facts from the BZA case. Any other further discussion? No other further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item H, consider acceptance of agreement between Business Purchasing Solution LLC, doing business as Spin Bridge, and the town of Schererville. That'd be Mr. Troxel.
Thank you, Councilman. Yeah, I sent it to you last week, and I'm just going to read the email on this. It has all the pertinent information. We've been looking for a digital solution for our townwide purchasing. Our current request of purchase method is paper-based, which you already know since you do sign the RTPs when they get over a certain dollar amount. Our financial software provider, Boyce Keystone, did not have a digital purchasing solution to offer municipalities until recently. SpendBridge has partnered with Boyce Keystone to integrate the purchasing process digitally with their financial software. SpendBridge has been working for months with our team, gathering data to build our spend management program. The integration has started and the customization digital platform is being developed. The system agreement will modernize our purchasing process and has the potential for savings through sourcing and contract management in the future. SpendBridge is currently handling many of the state of Indiana school districts' procurement processing. This agreement also gives the town of Schererville access to the state of Indiana quantity purchase agreement catalogs for free. I did have Attorney Austin review this agreement. Some of the terms of it, it's a 2-year agreement. The one-time subscription fee is $3,600, and the annual access fee is $6,000. It is recommendation from our office that we move forward with this if you want to consider this at all.
Thank you, Mr. Troxel.
Mr. President, I just want to say, Mr. Troxel, like Mr. Connolly said in the back room when we kind of briefly talked about this, I applaud you trying to automate the system and try and move things forward into the 21st century. I love the paperless idea. So the purchasing power of, joint purchasing, that's also a good thing. I do still voice my concern about being the guinea pig. We're the first users of this software and project, so I am a little leery of it, but I think that with the amount that we're talking about of investing, let's do it. I do applaud you. Thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troxel. With that being said, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Item I is award to bid for the Inverness Lane Storm Project. Mr. Neil Simstead, our town engineer.
Thank you, Tom. We have the bid report and recommendation for the Inverness Lane Storm Sewer Project. We opened bids at 9:15 on Friday of last week. We had 2 bidders for this project. One bid was received after the bid deadline at the Clerk Treasurer's office, and per specification, that was returned unopened to that bidder, and that was not included in the tabulation. The recommendation for award of this project would be to Hassey Construction Company in the amount of $1,355,775. Any questions?
Can you give us a little description of where this is at, what they're doing,
Yeah, this is
and tell us the seriousness of it?
Yeah, this is in Briar Ridge. It's on a town of Schererville maintained drainage way. It's existing as a 72-inch storm sewer corrugated metal pipe that has deteriorated over the years significantly, put in the early 70s, I believe, from what records we had. The town Public Works Department has repaired this line numerous times over the years, and it's past its functional life by several decades. And part of this replacement is going to be a trenchless method, so that we have a plastic pipe in there grouting the space between the 2 pipes at a smaller diameter. And that will be lower maintenance for a 50 to 80 year period for the life cycle of that material. And additionally, there's $250,000, I believe is the number, Jim?
Yes,
That was
yes,
given
sir.
by the Lake County Council in support of this project to the town.
Thank you. And Mr. Simstead, how does this issue relate to the issue that we had 4 or 5 years ago in Briar Ridge?
Yeah, this is upstream of that area, so it's tributary to that area that we dealt with the Little Calumet River Basin Development Commission, the town of Munster, the town of Dyer, town of Schererville, in the Tri-Town washout group that you had put together in coordinating with Dave's office for a joint interlocal on that project in 2015, 2016 timeframe.
So it is the same line?
Yeah, it's just downstream.
It's just downstream?
That area is downstream of this.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Simstead.
Thank you.
Pleasure of the board.
I was just going to ask one question. Is this one of the ARPA projects or no?
Yes.
So we're using ARPA funds for the balance after the 250 from Lake County Council?
Yes. I think we'll still have to dip into some other fund, because I don't think we allocated enough. Because, as time goes on.
Gone up.
Everything.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to award bid for the Inverness Lane Storm Sewer Project?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item J is award to bid for the 2023 sidewalk connectivity project. Mr. Simstead, this would be you again.
Yes, Mr. President, this is for the sidewalk connectivity between Terra, Amberley, and Ridgemore subdivision on the southwest side of town, and additionally on the generally north central, northwest side on Eagle Ridge Drive, south of the new bike trail connection down towards the Eagle Ridge Culvert area that we're replacing directly north of the Deer Creek Drive. And we had 6 bids for this project. The estimated cost of construction was $328,767.50. The lowest bid of the most responsive and responsible bidder is a recommendation to be made to Davis Concrete Construction Company in the amount of $355,775.00. Any questions?
One couple questions. Mr. Simstead, have you ever worked with Davis Concrete before?
We have. As a firm, we have, not only in Schererville here, but in other communities, and they have done work as a general slightly and as a sub more specifically at your wastewater treatment plant, and quality of the work they've performed in the past.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other further questions for Mr. Simstead?
Not questions, I guess just this connectivity project, this is us trying to connect subdivisions to our bike trail, correct?
Correct, and in other subdivisions within the community that, unfortunately, as those subdivisions develop, there was not necessarily the rationale to connect individual subdivisions because there was vacant land either between or looking further out of the development area.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
Mr. President, motion to approve.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item K is consider acceptance of donations for $1,200. Mr. Troxel, would you read the donations?
Yes, Mr. President. These were donations accepted in the month of June to the donation fund for park summer programs. DLZ Indiana Fencing Ribbon Cutting donated $600. To the police donation fund, DC Jones Engineering National Night Out donated $100, and Auto Tech Foreign Services for Police Equipment Fund donated $500. Total donations total $1,200 for the month.
Thank you.
Motion to approve donations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'll open it up to the floor. Any business from the floor? Any business from the floor? State your name and address, please.
Joe Conasec, President, Schererville, Local 7661 Morton Street, Maryville, Indiana. Just wanted to thank you guys for the favorable decision this evening for Project Fire Buddies. It's a program that we hope we don't have to utilize for the residents of the town of Schererville, but it is something that we've been trying to get off the ground so that we can provide that if needed. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Any other business from the floor? Any other business from the floor? No other business. This meeting's adjourned. Good night.
Thank you.